Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Donut Like Donut Read. I'm Jolene, and I'm here with Adam.
At your service?
And just myself. It's a very small recording.
Yeah, we didn't want to drag anyone else into this bullshit.
So today we're with something a little bit different than we usually cover. This is a published work by Jeffrey McDaniel called The Jesus Fridge. It is a piece of poetry that is posted on poets.org. It is very unique, let's say, and I'm very excited to share it with y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna preface this by saying that I like reading. I love writing. I never was good at poetry. I never really connected with poetry. So when we read this and we ask ourselves afterwards, what the hell did we just read? I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just some idiot on the internet talking about random shit he doesn't know. You know?
Fair enough.
It's just. So I think, like, if this video happens to blow up and we get bombarded by people like the Jesus Fridge stands, just letting y'all know that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
The Jesus Fridge fandom.
Yeah, or just the Jeffrey McDaniel fandom, I guess.
All right. Do you just want to go back and forth, or just want me to read through it, or?
You know what? Read through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Don't stop. If you have to laugh or giggle or something, go ahead. Just read through the whole thing. Uh-huh. And then we'll talk about what the fuck we just experienced.
Alright, sounds great. The Jesus Fridge by Jeffrey McDaniel. Your fridge died last week. The light still came on when you opened the door, like a doll sticking out her yellow tongue, with a jar of pickle spears, the oat milk in its blue cardboard house. The yogurt were swam as an average day in Santa Monica. A couple $100 of provisions down the figurative drain. A new fridge, a vertical morgue with shelves, was ordered and set to be delivered from the truck's womb. When wait, the dead fridge came back to life. The Jesus Fridge. The dead food healthy again. This phrase was funny to you last week. The collision of the mundane and the mechanical with the long-haired and sanctimonious. But it's not sanctimonious. But it's not funny today. The world has changed. Oh my god. This is a George Floyd moment for both Israelis and Palestinians.
Oh my god.
Actually, scratch that. It's a George Floyd moment for both Americans who sympathize with Israel and Americans who sympathize with Palestinians. It's a holy fuck moment for anyone who cares about human life. Upstairs, the bathtub is filling with blood. How big would the swimming pool have to be to hold the red salty stuff spilled the last week? Who will red line in the fresh blood bath? What swimmers will adjust their goggles and freestyle the miles of blood? So...
The fuck?
I actually kind of get what they're talking about. I wonder, when did this get posted?
This was posted last year. Actually, we should read I'll read the about this poem here. It says, this poem was written on October 13th, 2023 in one sitting. The poem is pinned to a moment in time, a hinge moment. The majority of my poems go through a vigorous series of revisions. In this instance, I resisted that impulse, as I didn't want to fall into the trap of revising the poem to try and keep pace with the escalating and profoundly disturbing violence.
So, I think this is genuinely covering the topic of the current conflict between Israel and Palestine. So I genuinely think this is from a good place, but it's just so bizarre. It's such a wild way to put it. And like the way he is writing it, I do get some of his wording. It's just so abstract that it comes back around as kind of bizarre.
Well, how do you like go from my fridge started working again to Israel and Palestine?
That's what I'm trying. Let me. Okay.
And this is unfortunately this video became weirdly political. So. Oh, and while you're looking at that, I also don't understand. I don't know if we should really. Using the phrase "this is a George Floyd moment" is. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. Maybe I just don't get it.
Okay, wait. There might be some deep lore to this. I'm like trying to decipher the code here.
The Jesus Fridge lore. Okay. Lore.
Jesus
Is this like the Da Vinci Code, but...
Yeah, that's what I was kind of feeling, right?
The Da Vinci Code of poetry, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, he also said he just didn't revise. I wish he would have revised his spelling, because I'm seeing at least one. The yogurt wore warm as an average day in Santa Monica. I mean, that's technically not correct, I guess.
So I do actually kind of get, like, I get what he's saying, because there's a lot of metaphors, like the fact, so the bathtub upstairs is filling with blood is a reference to heaven and the many people that are losing their lives, and the fact that the pool has to be big enough to fill that many lives. So I get what they're saying there.
Okay, I guess.
I read a lot of poetry in my high school. I did a lot of writing literature classes back in the day when I used to know what I was talking about. And I read some pretty out there shit. I do what he's going for. I do get what he's going for. It is not well articulated, in my opinion. The two ideas are there. Because the Jesus fridge, like, because I don't fully get the connection between the Jesus fridge exactly, but it's definitely he's got a fucking chord. He's got a marble of an idea there. Like, I see what he's trying to connect. I just can't figure out the top half to that paragraph.
Yeah, I don't know. When I remember in high school we were going over poetry, I always hated that because I just wasn't good at it. And like having to make our own poems or having to like dissect line by line these sonnets, and me looking at these things and thinking, I feel like we're trying to read more into this than we should be.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, you say all these things, and is it really as deep and profound as it says it is? I don't know.
You know,
I just don't get it.
So, I don't remember the exact sect he's part of, but Jeffrey McDaniel is Christian.
I figured.
Which, yeah, pretty obviously, just looking at the body of his work. But looking at the top half, I don't know exactly where he's coming from, but he's comparing, I think, aspects of the story of the Bible, some, like, events from the Bible to the reality, because there's a line, the Jesus fridge, the dead food healthy again. This phrase was funny too last week. The collision of the mundane and mechanical with the long-haired and sanctimonious, but it's not funny today. The world has changed. So, I don't know the Bible pretty much at all, but from what I'm looking at, he's clearly tying it to something. Whether he should be tying it is debatable, but considering the history tied to like Israel, the religious history there, I definitely could kind of guess where maybe he's trying to go with it. Not saying he did a good job, but it's not total spaghetti. Like, he's got an idea going on here. I don't know.
I feel like the linkage between the top and the bottom are...
That's the issue, is, like, I think if he wrote this with a little more, revision, he actually genuinely could have made the connection a lot stronger. But as it stands, this is a very messy piece.
Yeah. I mean, and I can see it being a lot of fun to write something on the spur of a moment, and then you don't edit, then you look back at it and say, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd post it and act like I think it's... keep pace with the escalating and profoundly disturbing violence. I don't know. I just feel like with a subject like this, it gets a little messy, too. Not only with, like, the Israel-Palestine, but also George Floyd, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little...
Honestly...
I mean...
Yeah. Because I do get what he's saying. It's like, this moment in time created this huge, change, or like this big consequence. And on the other hand, and in the same vein, this big event currently going on did lead to this larger consequence, but it's so far, I think, apart in the context of both situations. And again, like, I do get what he's going for, but I don't think it's I don't feel like it's well articulated enough. It's not well thought out enough, because I totally get what he's saying, but it's Honestly, really, to me, the poem's not that big of an issue. I think the poem's weird. It's bizarre. It's unintelligible in the sense that it's like you have to, or not unintelligible. It's non-linear. It's not a clear piece. But the bigger issue is the way he kind of frames it and is about. Because I do get what he's saying. Like, in this is about me. He's like, hey, I don't want to, like to quote him, as I didn't want to fall into the trap of revising the poem to try and keep pace with the escalating and profoundly disturbing violence. And I get that. It's just, I feel like he's taking himself too seriously. I don't know. Because I hate shitting on artists when they're trying to break into, like, you know, the industry or just share their own art. It's just, at some point, that's just like, I do want to emphasize, like, you can improve. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't like this guy. It's more like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially,
I don't have a problem with Jeffrey McDaniel himself. I don't know the guy.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I think the bigger issue is it's just a very messy topic to drop something like that into. You know, it's like dropping a piranha into a public pool. It's not a great idea.
Yes, I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, again, you seem like you get it more than I do. Mm-hmm. As we always say, don't contact the offer, but hey, Jeffrey McDaniel, if you find this video, please feel free to comment on it and explain why I'm such a dumbass, because I'm actually pretty curious, you know?
Yeah.
I think that'd be really interesting. I mean, also, you can also check out his other works he wrote. It's The Church of Michael Jordan and Compulsively Allergic to the Truth. I mean, you know, these are poems, I guess, you know?
Yeah. I think that's actually something interesting, like, really quick to aside, is he definitely really focuses on tying major celebrity, in the sense that, not celebrity, major people in the world that have fame for a reason of good or bad, you know? In the context of George Floyd, it's a very tragic reason, the reason he's so well known. And I think it's just kind of interesting. Like, it's a very it constantly reoccurs throughout his work, like the Michael Jordan comparison, for example. And you see it quite a few times. I don't know. It's just interesting. Food for thought.
For anyone who listened today or watched this video, you know, feel free to give us, like, what you take from it. If you think it's something, if you think this works, I'd love to hear the explanation. Because again, I just don't get it. I understand kind of what you're saying, Jolene. I just looking at this, it's so weird to me, and that's why I thought it was interesting to share this. You know.
Yeah. I'm just too desensitized.
I mean, and this guy's published. He knows what he's doing, I suppose.
Yeah. Well,
so
yeah.
I mean, again, don't bother the guy. He's clearly more important and more famous than us.
Yeah. Well. Anything else?
I mean, just check us out on Discord. Feel free to recommend us. Well, again, we mostly cover fan fiction, but hey, if you find some really weird poetry, good or bad, I like to look at it. I won't understand it, but I like to look at it.
Yeah, same.
And remember, if you do not like, do not read.
Have a good one.
Later.